So how are cubes and cube roots related? Okay, the cube and cube root they are opposites. And that's an important concept in math. Whenever we do something in math, we can undo it with its opposites. And not only can we say that for squares and square roots, cubes and cube roots, we can generalize that for any power. And this is the math behind powers now. Okay, so the root and the powers are opposites. And again, I want to just emphasize, this is not division. This is not multiplication. Powers have a different math to them and they behave differently. So the nth power, the nth root are opposites. So then to solve equations, we use opposites. We undo. Okay, so we want to work out these things. So cube root of 125 is going to be 5. Okay, and it has to be positive 5 because if I use negative in this case, negative 5 cubed is going to give me negative 125, which is not correct. So if my volume is 125, my edge length is 5. Here, if I cube a number, I get 64 cubes, and it's got to be negative 64 cubes. That means that I must have started with a negative number to cube it. So when I undo this, I'm going to solve here. So this is now an equation, so I'm solving. So I'm going to undo it by cube root, and I can, as long as I do the same to both sides, I'm allowed to do that in an equation because the important property is balance here. So cube and cube root, these undo each other, so I'm just left with x. And when I cube root 64, I end up with negative 4. So negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4 is 64. And again, I can test this with multiplication, but cubes and multiplication are slightly different. Here I have an equation. I need to solve it, so I need to undo the minus with a plus. I need to undo the times with a divide. And then I need to undo the cube with a cube root. Okay, not a square root, but a cube root. I have to be careful because those are slightly different. So I end up with a cube root of 11 over 2. Okay, and this is the answer that I want. There are times when we need the decimal answer to know how long, how far something is. Maybe we're answering a word problem. So if I want to do that, I can punch that into my calculator. Make sure you know where the cube root operation on your calculator is. And if I have a volume of 5.5 cubes, my edge length is about 1.765, so I'm going to round that to 77. Okay, and that's an approximation. So here we're going to undo this or solve. We undo the minus with a plus. We're going to undo the times with a divide. And we're going to undo this cube root with its opposite, which is a cube. So I end up with x equals 125 over 8. Okay, so when I cube that, I'm going to end up with 5 over 2 times 5 over 2 times 5 over 2. So I can do cube with repeated multiplication. And I end up with 125 in the numerator, 8 in the denominator.